Yo, what's up, everybody? It is the AEW Dynamite post show for Wednesday, September 22nd. Tonight, it's the Grand Slam. Bryan versus Kenny. Britt Baker retains, and Sting stands tall. You do a sound there, or you just made a motion? Just made the motion.
I don't want to interrupt you.
I thought you did the sound. I could hear Johnny the whole time.
I could go, woo!
Yeah, you could. Where's Johnny? Where's Johnny?
There he is.
Johnny North, the big man.
Big traps.
What up, dog?
I just saw the comment there. Happy birthday, AJ.
Hey.
Great day, always.
Hey.
Happy birthday to our very own Anthony DeLezio, a.k.a. AJ, your buddy, the world-famous AJ. It is his birthday today. So we salute you, AJ. We love you, AJ. And we'll talk to AJ tomorrow on Ringside Report MMA. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll be previewing UFC 266 tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And we will be watching UFC 266. What? Wow. I didn't even know we had that
That's
graphic ready. That is very cool. Happy birthday, AJ. We love you, AJ. Can we do that graphic again? Do that again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
It's not when you want it.
It's coming again. Oh,
there we go.
There he is.
AJ, we love him. We love that guy. Happy birthday from our main man. What a guy, AJ.
Cool.
We love him.
Very cool.
What a guy. I love that we have that.
Well done.
Get one ready for Fred. It's his birthday coming up, I think, next week. So get ready for Freddie's birthday, and then my birthday a few days after Freddie's. Freddie's is on the 30th, I believe. And then mine's on the 3rd, so get ready, all right? Happy birthday, AJ. We love you, AJ, and we'll be watching UFC 266 with you, AJ, on Saturday night, the return of Nick Diaz. But we're here to talk about AEW Dynamite and everything that went down tonight in New York. I thought the show was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty solid episode of Dynamite, one of the better episodes of Dynamite that you will see. But very typical to Dynamite, I think they kind of did their best thing at the beginning of the show, and then the rest of the show was, pretty good, but couldn't really compete with what they opened the show with. And that is something that Dynamite does a lot, and it was very apparent tonight. Things happen on the show. It was good stuff. Everything was good, but I feel like we would have liked it more if it was before Kenny and Bryan Danielson completely stealing the show and raising all expectations. Super chat. That match was so good, it was very, very hard to follow it. And Brian Firth dropping a super chat. Thank you, Brian. He says, was this the best AEW special? I don't know. Was it, Johnny? How did you feel about tonight's episode of Dynamite? I really liked the first hour, and then I kind of got a little bored. I mean, not bored, but, not as excited as I was when the show started. The whole show was about seeing Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson, and they gave it to us right off the bat, which was cool because I wanted to see it, but, that's what everybody kind of tuned in for, and they didn't make us wait at all. So then the rest of the show, I'm sitting there like,
We're reacting to it. We're still, deflated from it.
Yeah, we're still kind of thinking about it. Even CM Punk talked about it in his promo, like, I wouldn't want to follow that. And you wouldn't want to follow that. And then the whole show had to follow that. Which, I don't know about the placement of the match. I would have put it at the end. I think if the match was at the end, the show would have felt more full and complete. Like, if you open the show with Britt versus Ruby, you just switch those matches, really. Switch places. I think the show would have been maybe better. I think if you put it together a little bit more sensically, it just didn't make sense. It's Bryan versus Kenny. It's such a massive match. It should close the show, but they opened with it. But AEW does that a lot,
They must figure they have their highest audience right at the start of the show, so they just go right away with their biggest spot when they think they have their highest audience. That's one way. That's one theory I thought of.
Yeah.
From a business point of view.
Give you the best thing right off the top. John, what do you think, man?
Well, there's a couple of ways you can look at it. Like you just said, like give them the best thing right away. There's also the sense that the title match should be the last match, no? And the only title match was for the women's title, so that should be the main event.
That's true.
So there's also that way of looking at it.
Sure.
There's also the idea that you want it to be like, this is Brian's first match, so he shouldn't be main eventing right away. He should have to earn that main event spot. Other guys have been there beforehand, so there's also that.
Ruby's first match.
And
too.
also,
Ruby's, I mean, she did a battle royal, but this
she
is
earned
really.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, come on.
I know. I'm just saying in terms of storyline. And also, because that match ended in a draw. So for the show to end in a draw might seem kind of like not a great ending, where you actually had a finish to the women's title match.
Yep, you're not wrong, but what did you think of the main event? I mean, we're going to get to the whole show and stuff, but let's start with the end. It was good. They hit some nice moves, but was it the best match on the show? Was it the second best match on the show?
I'd say second or third.
I think it would probably be second, I would think. I was trying to think of what was probably better than the first match, and I think it would have to be the women's title match. I thought it was fine. I mean, I didn't have high expectations for that match, and I thought it exceeded my low expectations at least. I just thought the finish was just a little cluttered a bit, too much interference, and it felt very rushed. I felt maybe they should have gave this match more time and take away some time from other matches. They didn't really need it so much. But I feel like that they do that with a lot of the main events. That's just the unfortunate curse of the show.
Seeing Super Chat dropped. I didn't hear the sound effect, though. There it is. Thank
There we
you.
go.
There you go.
Thank you. Lee J. Robinson says the pop of Kenny versus Bryan and Soho should have... The pop of Kenny versus Bryan was just huge. And Soho should have lost differently, at least make her faint instead of tap. Yeah, her losing, just kind of tapping out. She did, Ruby loses to Britt Baker, but not without some interference. You had Rebel on the outside distracting the referee, and then Jamie Hayter, what do you call it?
Jawbreaker?
No, it's like a stun gun. What do you call that thing where you
You do that.
Guillotine.
guillotine, yeah. When you drop a person on the, she kind of pulled her neck onto the rope, and then she fell into Britt Baker, leading to the finish. So there was some interference there, so Ruby doesn't look bad. She does tap out in the end. I thought the match was fine. I thought it was pretty good. But I think, you say, oh, yeah, maybe it was the second best match. But Sting and Darby versus FTR was pretty good too. And I think you could make an argument that was just as good as this match. I think you could make an argument that even Malaka Black and Cody Rhodes was as good as this match. You know what I'm saying? I think it was. They were all. They were all pretty good.
I'm calling him that now. Malaka Black.
JR said it?
Did he say that? No, he called him Malibu Black. I think he called him. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. Joyeux anniversaire, AJ. Happy birthday, my friend. I don't know. I call him Malaka Black because if you just take off the I, it's Malaka Black, right?
That's right.
Angelo knows what I'm talking about.
That's right.
My friend Angelo. Shout out Angelo. Shout out Jason Pete. Shout out Lee J. Robinson. Shout out Brian Firth. I'm seeing a lot of members. Douglas Hepburn. Seeing a lot of members on the chat right now. Dropping super chats. Chatting it up. They are members of the Ringside Report Network. Become a member. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. We are rocking. We are rolling. The Ringside Report Network is in full effect. Thank you, Rob Cluse, for re-upping the membership. People stay. Once you become a member, you're a member for life because this is a big family and we are the Ringside Report Network and we are always here for you. We're here every single goddamn night. I mean, I don't know if it's every single night, but sometimes it feels like it for me.
It's most nights of the week.
This week, it's like almost every night. I was here Monday night after Raw. I took a night off on Tuesday because I don't do an NXT post show. Although that fucking little Rick Steiner guy might make me start doing an NXT post show. I was showing you some clips of this guy before. This guy is fantastic. Johnny, have you seen Rick Steiner's son, 23 years old, jacked to the gills, cuts promos like a Steiner, looks like a Steiner? It's like a new Steiner.
What was that
it's
line
like,
he said? NXT?
Something, just the way he speaks, he sounds like a Steiner. It's fantastic.
Got that, like...
he's so good.
Singlet, that brightly colored singlet, and, like, he's got the eyes.
Oh, he's so cool, that guy. Have you seen...
Breaker?
Braun Breaker, I think they're calling him. Wait, no. What's his name? Braun Breaker.
Terrible name.
Terrible name. His real name is Bronson Rechsteiner.
That's better.
He's Rick Steiner's son. John, have you seen this guy in NXT? He's in the NXT 2.0, which I thought was hilarious because the fans were chanting 2.0 last night on NXT, and I'm like, that's a tag team in AEW that you just released from NXT. You fucking... Anyways, they're doing much better now. They're in a better place. They're much better off. One of the guys is the BTE champion, which is a shoot championship, and he won it wearing an Expos hat, and he's defended it as well on this week's BTE wearing an Expos hat. Big Magic is the BTE champion wearing an Expos hat. What a guy. Montreal's own. God bless him. What the hell was I talking about? I got lost with Big Magic. Braun Breaker. Have you seen this guy, John?
Yeah, I saw clips.
He's cool. I like him. All right. And I'm here almost every night, but I'm not here after NXT. But Braun Breaker might bring me on Tuesday nights as well, which would absolutely kill me. I might die if I did that. But I'm here Monday. Well, Wednesday after Dynamite. Thursday for the MMA show. Friday night, we're usually here after SmackDown, but this Friday, Johnny is wrestling, and I am going to be on the wrestling show. It's Friday night. We'll tell you more about it later, so we're not on Friday. But then we're on Saturday for the UFC 266 watch-along, and then we're on again on Sunday after WWE Extreme Rules.
Oh, crap.
Extreme Rules is Sunday, John.
And there are no stipulations yet, are there?
There's one Extreme Rules match, I think. I don't know. It doesn't look that great. And they haven't, booked Big E in anything. You figure Big E versus Bobby would happen, but they haven't actually announced that, so I don't know. Roman won twice on Raw. It was hilarious. That was nuts. I mean, I don't want to talk about Raw. Let's talk about Dynamite. It was so crazy. Raw was insane. The finish on it was like a six-man tag. It was a six-man tag. And Bobby Lashley wound up beating 4 out of the 6 men in the match. Bobby wasn't in the match. He comes out. It was New Day versus Usos and Roman. Bobby Lashley comes out. He just beats up the Usos and Big E and Kofi. And then Roman Reigns, for some reason, hits a spear and pins Xavier Woods. And that was the finish of the match. And I'm like, referee, did you not see this other man who's not in the match just beat up 4 of the guys that are in the match? It's like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Roman has to win. No disqualifications here. It was just weird. And that's, sometimes you can have a non-finish and it could be all right. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson was a non-finish and it was all right. I had no problem with that. I thought the match was fantastic. Goes to a time limit draw. It was excellent. Bryan taking that Snapdragon on the stage where he skidded. He skids on the stage after taking the bump. That was nasty. You feared for Daniel Bryan in certain moments during Bryan Danielson, right?
Really hard.
It'll take a while.
He
takes a power bomb over the top rope. It looks like it's a buckle bomb, but he takes it on the rope and falls out of the ring onto the stage. The way he was selling his arm, I was legit concerned. I was like, did something happen to his neck there? Is he losing sensation in his arm? Did he hurt his arm? Did he hurt his shoulder? Is he okay? Is he just selling? You worry about this guy because he's in an intense wrestling match and he's had, neck problems, concussion problems. He had to retire. There's a lot of medical issues in his past. He seems like he's all right now, but goddamn, when he's selling, you believe it, right? You believe it. So that was just great stuff, and Kenny hit him with some legitimately good stuff. Bryan hit a really nice suplex on Kenny, the William Regal plex, right? That was pretty nice.
Yeah, where he was from behind, kind of hooked the leg before. I feel like that's a Regal plex.
Gotta show respect. Bryan wrote a nice thing about WWE thanking them, and of course Regal, a big reason why Bryan was in the WWE. It was cool to see him show that kind of respect and do a nod to William Regal in this match. A guy who was very important and instrumental in Bryan's career, especially early on, pushing him to get signed, pushing WWE to do it. AJ again? Why are we doing AJ again?
Real life AJ, he's just always there.
AJ just always interrupting.
Randomly comes back.
Yeah, it's happy birthday, AJ, but goddamn, pal.
Got a train of thought here.
I don't know what's going on here. Now I lost my train of thought. Shit.
It was about William Regal.
Yeah, well, it's nice for him to show respect to Regal. And then Brian, in the match, hit that nice Regal Plex for a 2 count. Hits a Poison Rana, the reverse Hurricane Rana there to reverse out of the One-Winged Angel. They fight to the end. They fight to the finish. Brian puts Kenny in the yes lock there after the match. And then the Bucks and Adam Cole come in to stop Brian from killing Kenny. And then Cole and the Bucks decide to triple super kick Brian, which sends Christian, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus out to make the save. They're going to have a match on Rampage on Friday night. Cole and the Bucks versus Christian and the Jungle People.
Might be happening right now.
Yeah, they're probably shooting it right now. Or maybe,
Soon.
I don't know when they're recording it. It's not live, I don't think, on Friday. I think it's recorded, right?
I'm pretty sure, because I think they're staying at Arthur Ashe. I don't think they rented it 2 nights.
Yeah, I think they're recording it probably right now, as we speak. But the match itself, fantastic. Just a great match. You didn't know what was going to happen. And it sets up so much. And it also, it shows you Bryan Danielson, he's on the same level as Kenny Omega. Can he beat Kenny Omega in 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever the time limit was? No, he cannot. But Kenny can't beat him either, and it's very, very close, and they need more time to settle this thing. Like, it sets you up with Bryan Danielson as right up here with the world champion Kenny Omega, which is exactly where he should be and how you set up a big star like this. Very well done. You don't have Kenny lose to him on his first night, but you also don't have Bryan lose on his first night, which is really good. You don't want Bryan to lose his first match for sure, but beating Kenny on his first night kind of, might be a little bit too much. But doing this, I think, was the right move. I think they did it really well. I wasn't sure how they were going to do the finish to this. The time limit draw made sense. I'm happy they did it, and the match itself was fantastic. Just a classic match, exactly what you wanted, delivered all expectations. I've been waiting to see Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson for years in a one-on-one setting on national television. I never thought that it would actually happen. The fact that Tony Khan and the people at AEW gave it to us in Bryan Danielson's first match is phenomenal. For free. Phenomenal. And it delivered, 5 stars, 10 stars, whatever you want to give it. Kill the Meltzer scale. It's way off the charts. Fantastic stuff. 10 out of 10. This was a perfect match. I have no problems with it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Bryan Danielson does next.
That's probably the best match of the year I've seen so far. I can't really think of anything that's come close. And I love how Kenny looked in this match. Kenny looked strong for almost 10 minutes there in the middle. And I like that he didn't resort to dirty tactics either. In his character point of view, he had to prove this. He didn't want to just lay down for the WWE guy, but he didn't want to be a cheater either. He wanted to show his skill, and he did. When he went for that V trigger from all the way up the ramp, usually WWE logic would say, well, Bryan's gonna back body drop him over the rope. He's not gonna hit it because he's running from so far. But no, Kenny just hit it because he had the confidence.
And Bryan was beat up.
Through. Yeah, because he just dealt so much damage to him. I love how Kenny looked in this match. Just proved again why he's the champ and the best bout machine.
Yeah, because he's not booked to look shitty. He's booked to look like a strong champion who happens to be a heel. In other wrestling companies, heels a lot of times are booked as guys that can only win if they cheat, and mostly scared to wrestle any kind of match. Their first instinct is to be I do not want to wrestle any match ever. And
Kenny's had a bit of that.
Kenny has some of that, but when it comes down to it, he's ready to go, and he's the best bout machine. And there is that part of Kenny's character that wants to prove that he is the best bout machine, and it doesn't matter because he knows he's going to have to get in there, and he can prove it because he truly believes that he is the best in the world. And Bryan Danielson is a guy who comes in believing that he is best in the world, and they have to go in there and prove it.
Great story.
And after watching tonight, I think it's a toss-up for me of who the best wrestler in the world is. But I'll tell you that much, that the guys that are in the conversation, and for me, the 2 guys that have been the only guys in the conversation for the past 5 to 10 years, they were in that opening match on Dynamite tonight, which is, I think, an accomplishment for the wrestling business. The fact that these two guys, who I would consider two of the best of all time, and certainly two of the best guys going today, the fact that they wrestled that classic match in the opener tonight, that's great. That's great for pro wrestling. I'm very happy, and me as a Bryan Danielson fan, I'm super happy. I couldn't be happier with this. I can't complain. Should have been the main event, but other than that, I can't complain. I always find something, right? But it was good.
So
Johnny didn't like it.
I thought the match was good. No, I thought the match was good. Like, obviously, the beginning was probably like one of the best beginnings I think AEW's ever had, I think. The crowd was incredibly hot for that. And I thought up to the commercial break, they were having a great match. And then when that commercial break happened, it felt like there was a huge, it kind of stopped a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And it felt like a lot of the momentum, like, it was okay for Kenny to get the heat, but you felt the energy wasn't there anymore. Like, it felt like it died a bit. And they got it back, but it felt like it wasn't quite there for a good chunk of the match.
I think you have to do that. When they're so hot, they can't be that hot the whole match. You got to bring them back down so that you can bring them back up.
I thought the crowd was kind of hot for Kenny, even when Kenny, like when he did the "You Cannot Escape," the crowd was chanting along with that, and they like Kenny's spots and catchphrases,
I thought the crowd was pretty good for it. Definitely some kind of slow down moments in the match.
Never felt dead,
but I don't know. It felt like a pretty live crowd the whole way through. It was a hell of a match. It ranks up there as far as greatest matches in Dynamite history, right?
Yeah, without question. I mean, I definitely, again, for opening match, I mean, I don't think you could ask for anything better than that. Perhaps it was too good. Maybe that was the only real problem with that.
Yeah.
But again,
therein
I
lies
feel
the issue.
like, yeah, possibly that. But also the fact that it went past for the commercial break. Like, I think they gave him 10 minutes. Usually the opening match, they give him extra time so you don't get the commercial break. But the fact that it got the commercial break, and it felt like not much happened during the commercial break, the crowd kind of felt it too a bit. So it didn't feel the same kind of energy that you had at the beginning, which is understandable because it's such a long match.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I think the only real problem with this was the placement of it on the card, because after this, the rest of the show just felt kind of ordinary, but it wasn't, it was really good. And it was, big matches that meant something and big moments and all sorts of cool stuff. But it felt like less important than what we had already seen. And I feel like, a lot of people may have tuned out because you already saw the good thing. Are you really going to stick around for Sting or Britt Baker or whoever else? A lot of people were tuning in tonight to see Kenny versus Bryan. I don't know how many people were tuning in tonight to see Ruby versus Britt. I'm sure people were. I was interested in that match, but the selling point was the opening match. And I think it made the rest of the show feel a little bit like a letdown. Like when Britt beat Ruby, I was like, well, there's going to be something else, right? Like Britt just beat Ruby. So going into this, I didn't think Ruby was going to win. It's her first real match. Britt's the champion. She's a great champion. I never for 1 second thought Ruby was the one to take it from Britt. I fully expected Britt to win this match with some help from her friends, right? Doug Hepburn says Johnny North versus El Contador, who would win? I think it might be a draw, time limit draw. I think that's how it might go down.
I think I would win. I think that's pretty safe to say. I would win.
No matter what, you would win. Yes, I would say that's 100%. Well,
there you go.
He would win. John, I was about to use your shoot. I was about to use your shoot last name, but I don't want to do that. I was gonna say that I was gonna give your real last name out for a second there.
Fourth wall.
Oh, I would win. That's all you need to know.
The freaking Deacon.
I'm not Batista, but I would win.
Johnny. So,
Yeah.
I thought Britt and Ruby was good. The match was fine, but I fully expected Britt to win. She wins. She retains the title. She gets her friends to help her cheat to win, which was like, I'm telling you, during this match, you're like, you think maybe Ruby? I'm like, nah, Britt's going to win. She's going to get help from her 2 heel friends. She's going to retain because she's Britt. She's the champion, and she's too over right now. They're not going to stop this train with Ruby Riott, who, like, let's be honest, is cool and all, but she's a nice addition to the division. She's not somebody you bring in and she's the champion right off the bat. If this were Sasha Banks or Charlotte Flair, like, okay, maybe I'd believe it, but not Ruby Soho Riott, right? So I fully expected this finish. I was a little surprised that this was the main event. I know it's the only title match on the card, but it's a title match where you don't expect a title change whatsoever. And then after the match, I thought, okay, well, Britt will win, and then they'll have somebody come out and challenge Britt or do something with Britt. Like Thunder Rosa will come out and stop Britt and her friends from beating up Ruby Riott some more. Something will happen. The Iconics will come out and help Ruby Riott or something, right? Like they'll debut some new people, or they'll have Thunder Rosa come out, or Chris Statlander, or somebody to come and have some sort of thing going on. Not just have the heel champion standing tall at the end of the show in a match that was pretty good. But that's what they did. So on a show where you open up with one of the best matches, maybe match of the year, then you close the show with this match that was, fine, but not match of the year. And it didn't have a ton of heat going into it, and you didn't expect Ruby to win. It's kind of like, well, how do you finish the show like that? So at the end of it, you're like, okay, good, Dynamite's over. We're done. It's not like, oh, damn, that was crazy. It was like, all right, Dynamite's done. I guess Rampage on Friday will be all right. Punk will wrestle, like it doesn't get you hyped. It doesn't leave you with a feeling of, oh, my God, what did I just witness? It's like, oh, okay. I guess show's over now.
This is moving on.
That's it. Lana didn't come out to attack Britt Baker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing cool happened. Nothing crazy happened at the end of the show, which you kind of needed on a show that had Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson wrestle a fucking classic. So I think they should have closed the show with Bryan and Kenny. That's the reason everybody showed up. And I think you do a disservice to Britt and Ruby and to, frankly, everybody on the show by opening it with that.
Yeah.
Because now everybody, it's like Sting and Darby was cool against FTR. It was good. I really liked it, but, it's going to be forgotten, And it's just, I don't think the crowd was as hot for that as it would have been had they still been waiting to do the big pop for the Bryan and Kenny match. You build up to the big match. You don't give the big match and then kind of fizzle down.
The match I think that suffered the most as a result of that was MJF and Brian Pillman Jr. Like, I was interested in that match before, but then, once it came out, I was like, oh, yeah, this is happening. And
who cares?
I was yeah. And, that should have been, if Brian and Kenny went on last, I'd be like, oh, let's go. MJF, Brian Pillman, let's see what happens. Let's see if MJF gets his comeuppance.
But you gave no shits.
No,
and
no
CM
drama.
Punk comes out right after the Brian Kenny match. CM Punk comes out to do a promo that's very lackluster. This guy is much better in the ring than on the mic, which I'm surprised to say at this point. But his match with Darby was fantastic. His commentary work has been not noticeable, and his promo tonight was not very interesting, talking about Will Hobbs and Team Taz and how they're trying.
I'm pissed off,
and I don't want to be pissed off because I love AEW, but Team Taz is ruining this for me, and they're making me mad, and they're gonna unleash the real Punk, the mad guy. And I'm like, okay, big deal. Next, why don't you chug some Pepsi, eat some ice cream, and get the fuck off the screen, bro? I don't care. The best part, I love CM Punk. I think he's fantastic. I'm super happy to see him. But that promo tonight, it was like AEW is depending too much on CM Punk to just go out there and talk. And it's like, okay, I understand he's trying to set up this match with Will Hobbs, but like, how many people really give a shit about his match with Will Hobbs that you have to do a promo? Like, show a graphic, do the match, next? Like,
or cut a real promo.
Will Hobbs is fine and all, but nobody believes Will Hobbs is going to beat CM Punk, and nobody really gives a shit about this feud with Team Taz. The Darby thing was much more interesting.
Yeah, and like, I want to say that he's kind of overdoing it on purpose. Like, when in WWE, when he was like what we used to call ice cream bar Punk back in the day, when he was just kind of like a bit overly babyface, and like when he started his championship run, and then like he turned heel and he said, "I fooled all of you. I was this superhero babyface that you could all cheer for, and then like I turned on you to show how stupid you are." I'm kind of hoping this is what he's doing here, and he's just going out there and being like, "I love you guys. I love it when you sing my song." And it's just kind of building for him to be like,
turn heel.
"I hate you guys."
That would be fun.
And like, I'm doing this, but I don't know at this point in his life and career. Maybe he just wants to be the happy guy. You know, it's hard to tell.
Heel Punk is much more interesting than this babyface Punk. Thank you, Patrick C. Hamilton. He says, happy to be here for a wrestling show tonight. I'm happy to be here as well. I watched Raw on Monday night, and then I did the show solo, which was all right, but this is much more fun. I got my brother. I got Big Johnny. We saw Bryan Danielson wrestle Kenny Omega. It's a little bit more fun for me on Wednesday nights, too. So thank you, Patrick, for supporting the Ringside Report Network, a member for 10 months of the Ringside Report universe. I appreciate you, Patrick. 10 months, man. He is an OG. Love it. And Patrick is now the top. Oh, no, Lee J. Robinson is actually the Super Chat leader tonight. Thank you, Lee J. My man. I like it. Yeah, it just kind of... And CM Punk said, I wouldn't want to follow that, right? And, Doug Hepburn pointing that out. Punk did say, how do you follow that? He said, I'm glad I'm not wrestling tonight because I don't know how you follow Kenny and Bryan. And it's like, yeah, and I think he meant it. He's like, man, I'm glad I'm not wrestling tonight because it kind of sucks for everybody else that has to wrestle tonight because nobody's going to give a shit about their match after what we just saw. And nobody really gave a shit about Punk's promo. He got a big pop, but, he talked for a while, and it wasn't, Yeah. My favorite part of Punk's promo was at the end when he jumps out of the ring and he hugged Jack Spade. That is going to be so good for the DWL. I'm telling you guys, the Duffy Wrestling League is going to take off now that CM Punk is acknowledging Jack Spade, the DWL champion. You guys watch Heels or what? You know what I'm talking about? It was Jack Spade in the front row. When I saw Stephen Amell, I was like, oh, it's Jack Spade. Oh,
my God.
Jack Spade's here. What's he going to do? Is Ace here too? His brother Ace Spade. Good guy. I like that show a lot. I like it a lot. It is good. 5 episodes in, and I'm really enjoying it. I did not think that I would like a drama show about professional wrestling. I feel like Hollywood never does wrestling correctly, but Stephen Amell loves the wrestling business, and that show is fucking good. It gets my seal of approval big time. I am loving Heels. I think it's fantastic. There's no moments where you think, nah, that's not really how it goes in pro wrestling. That's not really how it works. I mean, there are some things where they stretch it a little bit, but for the most part, it's very true to life. And I like that. There's some real and a lot of elements of, things that guys have to deal with in pro wrestling. I mean, there are definitely some holes you can poke into it, and I'm sure Johnny North would love to do that. But overall, it's a very good show. He hasn't watched it yet, but Johnny, he always finds, the inconsistencies here and there, and he points them out. But I think the show is fantastic. And to see Stephen Amell, Jack Spade, ringside there, and Punk hug him, that was cool. Punk was on an episode. He was a guest star for one show. It's a good show, John. You said you're going to watch it when all the episodes come out, right? When you can watch a whole season at once?
You're going to binge it?
That's the idea. I guess, there's going to be 10 episodes?
I don't know.
10 to 13 is usually season for a cable show.
Yeah. You're going to like it, John. I think you're going to like it. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. I really like Heels. Seeing Jack Spade there was cool. Anybody watching Heels? Am I the only guy watching Heels here? You guys should be watching it. It's good. Speaking of Heels, MJF beats Brian Pillman Jr. with the Salt of the Earth armbar, that Fujiwara armbar that he uses. I don't know. It happened. What do you think, John?
Well, it's just unfair that they're put in that position where they're kind of following Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson against Kenny Omega. I mean, that's really tough because like Brian Pillman Jr., this is his first like big time singles match, and he put him up right after that match. That's really hard for him. I mean, he gave his best effort here, but he's just not on that level. And, it's hard for anyone to expect him to do more than what he did. MJF was solid. He was good. I feel the Julia Hart thing, it was fine, but she was like corpsing a bit, so that kind of took away from that spot, unfortunately. But besides that, it was good.
Too bad you can't send for the man.
Or send for the con.
Ooh, yeah.
There was a Macho Man in the audience, though.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that Macho Madness guy? That guy was awesome.
With the head?
He not only was dressed like Macho Madness, he had a giant Macho Man head, too. Fantastic. Whoever that guy was, hats off to Macho Man guy in the crowd tonight. I popped way more for Macho Man guy than I did for that MJF Brian Pillman match. I'll tell you that much. I think it was unfair of Tony Khan to make any of his wrestlers follow Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega.
You should have known better.
Like, they're the two best guys in the world. Why would you make anybody follow that? Why would you have your whole roster follow that? They can't. Nobody's going to top that. Only guy that could maybe do it was Darby, I thought. Maybe Darby could, like, do some crazy shit where you're like, oh, yeah. And Darby came close, man. That his match was good. To me, Darby was the second best match. I love Darby. I think he's fantastic. Sting and Darby versus FTR, I really liked. That was my second favorite match of the night behind Bryan and Kenny. That was really fun. I really liked Sting and Darby. I thought Sting did really well. Darby did great. That the finish was beautiful. Sting has one of the FTRs in the Scorpion Deathlock. Darby hits his coffin drop on the other FTR on the apron. Because the FTRs were holding each other. The FTR that had the Deathlock and the FTR that was outside the ring was trying to pull the other. I don't care about their name. Dax and Hash or whatever. Hash Smoke and Dax Wood or whatever. It doesn't matter what their names are. One FTR and the other FTR. They're pulling, and then Darby does the deal on the guy that was pulling outside the ring, hits him on the apron with the coffin drop, which loosens up the other guy to tap out the Sting Scorpion Deathlock, the sharpshooter. Fantastic finish. Good match. Sting did some stuff. He didn't take too many bumps, but, he did what he needed to do. It's cool to see the Stinger out there working a TV match. I thought FTR did a real good job of, bumping and feeding for the Stinger. I mean, they were all over the ring, really eating that canvas. You know what I'm saying? They were doing real well there. That was really good stuff. FTR, you could tell they were happy to be in there with the Stinger, and why not? And Darby's always fantastic in the ring. I really liked that match. I thought it was good. You had Tully on the outside, getting in Sting's face, doing some stuff there. I know that there was a chair used in the match, John, that you were unhappy with, that they were able to use a weapon during the match. AEW, they skirt the rules all the time. But other than that,
in the theme song, break the rules.
I don't think that's the words. I think it's. Is it break the rules?
Like the fuse, break the rules?
I think it's
Dynamite.
like the fuse, bring the boom, Dynamite. It's not break the rules. It sounds like they're saying break the rules, but they're saying bring the boom.
That makes sense.
It's like the fuse, bring the boom, Dynamite.
I like break the rules.
Break the rules sounds better.
At the fuse, break the rules.
Boom sounds better for Adam Cole now.
I suppose.
Baby. So what? I like Sting and Darby versus FTR. I thought that was a great match. Sting and Darby get the win. Great stuff. Other than Kenny and Bryan, that match, the Sting and Darby versus FTR, is like the other match that really stands out as, oh, I had a lot of fun watching that. Everything else, it was kind of like, oh yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I appreciated it as a wrestling match, but I wasn't like amused and like, oh shit.
Although if we're talking amused,
Arn Anderson,
and fun,
we'll get to Arn Anderson and the tumble. But John, what'd you think of Sting and Darby and FTR? It was good, right?
Well, I really liked Sting's effort in that match. It felt like Sting, a lot of that seemed like it was on the fly. Maybe it wasn't, but it just seemed like Sting just went out there and it's like, well, okay, we're going to do a bunch of stuff. Let's go off the ropes and let's see what happens. That's what it felt like. So it felt very much like a roller coaster kind of match, which is fun though. And Darby as well doing that. It's just, again, some parts were kind of nonsensical with the whole using the weapons, and then Tully's got like some sort of like chloroform or something he's going to use, and like right in front of the referee again.
I thought it was just a rag to wipe off the makeup.
I'm not sure, but you still can't do that. You can't threaten to do that, like right in front of the referee and everyone, like that. There's little things like that. Like you said, they let things slide too much, and they let things slide way too much throughout the whole show. Like Cody elbowing the referee, like, that's an instant DQ, and it wasn't. It's little things like that.
Brandy got in the ring at one point to just flip off Aleister Black.
Another thing as well.
What's she doing in the ring? But like you said, it was a roller coaster of a match, like it was fun, the FTR versus Sting and Darby. It was fun. And to me, it was the second most fun match of the night. I really, I liked it. I thought it was great. And I'm not a big Sting fan, but I really liked the Stinger tonight. I thought he was a lot of fun. I like the Stinger. Let's get to Malaka Black and Cody Rhodes. Malaka gets the win over Cody. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis dropping a super chat. He says if Danielson Omega ended in a draw like it did at the end of the show, it would get people talking about a rematch. Yeah, if that was at the end of the show, I think people would be hyped for the next match, and I think people are already hyped for the next match. I think, because it's a draw, people want to see what's going to happen next. Does Bryan get a rematch for the title now with Kenny? Do they do another match? How does this go? Do we separate Bryan and Kenny for a while? Bryan has to work his way up the ladder to eventually get a title shot. I don't know, but I'm interested in the ride. I want to wait and see what happens. So I'm happy with that. Thank you, Angelo, for dropping the super chat. You are once again the super chat leader of the night. Angelo in the lead. Thank you to everybody supporting the network tonight. I'm seeing a lot of our friends, Angelo, Patrick, out in Saskatchewan, Doug Hepburn, Lee J. Robinson, Brian Firth. Thank you to everybody super chatting tonight. Appreciate you guys. Malaka Black beats Cody Rhodes with a roll-up. Arn Anderson at one point is on the apron, and I guess he was on the wrong side of the ring, so he tried to go around the ring post and get on the right side of the ring, but unfortunately lost his footing and took a tumble and went down. And you thought it was part of the show, but then you realize, nope, that's just Arn Anderson falling off the ring.
Cody's looking. Cody, after he falls, the camera goes to Cody. He looks back, like kind of like surprised, like is Arn okay? And also just like pissed off, like, oh come on.
He's like, what do I do now?
They could have worked that. It would have been better that way, actually.
But they didn't. Instead, they show you how much of a botch that was because Arn Anderson gets back on the apron and gets bumped off the apron. I forget how he got. Cody
just runs into him. He doesn't get Irish whipped or anything. He just runs into him.
Cody just ran into him for no reason. Arn bumps off the apron again, right? He has to take a fake, like a real bump that he didn't expect, and then he has to get back on to take the fake bump, right? So he takes the fake bump off the apron, and then Cody, that's the spot. Arn taking the fake bump, and then Cody rolling outside the ring to check on him, and then Arn yelling at Cody to get back in the ring and, don't lose your head and stay focused on the task at hand, which, of course, he doesn't, and then winds up losing to Malaka Black via roll-up after Cody.
Missed.
There was missed?
Yeah, I think it's after Cody shoved the ref.
Cody hit the ref.
Misted.
Yeah, he got misted.
Rolled up and the ref counted.
Right.
The ref, I guess, was pissed at Cody.
So Malaka Black has missed now. Who is he? Asuka? Anyways, so that's happening there. So Black wins again over Cody. But the real story is Arn Anderson falling. And John, you're totally right. Like, if the spot was Cody is supposed to go check on Arn to see if he's okay after taking a bump off the apron, why not, forget about running into him, and when he falls off the apron in a real way, then you're like, oh, okay, let's just do it now. And then you go and you check on him, and he yells at you, and then you You know, you're right. They should have just kind of let it go. And then it's not such an obvious botch. Unfortunately, it is an obvious botch that will be replayed over and over again because it was so fucking funny to see Arn Anderson, like, try, like, oh, am I going to put my foot here? Is this going to work? Whoa, whoa. And then he falls out of the frame. Like, you see him, and then you don't. And you're like, what happened to Arn? And you can tell, like, it didn't go right for him. We watched it a couple of times. We're like, oh, he just fucking flew.
Like
Hope he's all right,
whistle.
man. I think he's fine. He's a
He
tough
got
guy.
up pretty quickly.
He's a tough guy, man.
He got
he's
up,
all right.
yeah.
I think he tried to like cover, like maybe he thought no one saw
I
that.
think he was embarrassed. Holy shit,
And
that
now
was
it's gonna
funny.
lead to,
Because
like,
the
the
crowd
dissolution.
reacted.
Yeah, the crowd's like, oh!
Yeah,
The crowd reacted like, oh shit, is he okay?
And this is gonna lead to like Cody and Arn like breaking up and like Cody maybe turning heel and like attacking Arn. Like it's all over this like really bad botch.
It should be. It should be about the botch. Cody should just like be like, Arn, you're a fucking embarrassment.
I'm on Botchamania because of you.
Yeah. Just get mad at Arn for falling over.
They should acknowledge Botch. I was hoping Punk was gonna acknowledge Botchamania when he talked about how the table didn't break last week in his spot. I was kind of hoping he would say I'm the
Kind
table.
of did.
Kinda, but he didn't say I am the table or Botchamania or anything like that. But he knows
Fucking bullshit is what I say.
exactly.
Fucking bullshit.
Bullshit, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, let's talk about Punk and Hulk Hogan for a second.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Where Punk's like,
He doesn't like Hogan, I know.
oh, Hogan
I
is
knew
a
that
piece.
beforehand.
He's like, oh, Hulk Hogan is a piece of shit. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's the man. And I'm like, is he though? Like, okay, Hogan may lie every single moment of every day. Hogan may be a bit wild and crazy. Hogan may be a devout racist. However,
The sex tape.
I never heard that term.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a sex tape that's released without your knowledge. I don't think that's a knock against him, John. I think that's you kink shaming Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that's right, Joe.
How dare you?
Don't kick shame the Hulkster, brother.
With another guy's man, like another guy's not man, but wife.
That's
like
a
that's
thing.
kind of.
That's called cuckolding,
That's a thing?
John. That's
He-
called
Oh, yeah, it's
cuckolding.
cuckolding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called cuckolding.
He was asking Hulk to do that with his wife. Basically, over and over again.
Bubba
And
the Love Sponge got something out of it.
Bubba the Love Sponge also was videotaping it without Hogan's knowledge, by the way. Okay? A, and B, he asked everybody and anybody to fuck his wife. Okay? This is a known fucking fact. So don't act like Hogan was creeping around his friend's back to have sex with his wife. No. Bubba knew about it. He was in the other room, probably watching on video. So let's not pretend like Hogan's some bad guy for doing that. Having sex with that woman is totally fine. As far as we know, there's no sexual impropriety with Hulk Hogan, unlike some pro wrestlers that we're fucking hearing about. Nature Boy.
What about the Postamania thing with Hogan?
I don't know about no Pastamania thing.
Pastamania?
There's rumors. I don't know if it's
Like a tax thing?
there was like a thing where there was a woman who accused Hulk Hogan of maybe being a little too something, getting, I don't know. I don't really remember the story, but there was somebody who worked for Pastamania, which was Hulk Hogan's pasta restaurant that failed. And there was something that went on there. I don't know. What's the story with Pastamania?
I think they signed an NDA, so nothing happened.
Well, something obviously happened. I don't know. Maybe they'll do a Dark Side of the Ring on Big Terry Bollea. But I mean, for Punk to shit on Hulk Hogan for being, whatever he is, and then to be like, oh, but Stone Cold, what a great guy, an exemplary human being. And I'm like, yeah, but is he though? Is he though? Like, for Punk to just shit all over Hogan and then in the same breath talk about how great of a guy Stone Cold Steve Austin is, I think is a little bit off the mark. I think Punk needs to watch the interview with Deborah about what Stone Cold Steve Austin did to her. How about that? I think Stone Cold Steve Austin is a very important man in professional wrestling and a very, great wrestler, and we all love Stone Cold. But he definitely beat the shit out of his wife. That happened. And if you hear the story, it's pretty goddamn awful. I played the Deborah video for you the other day.
It was disturbing.
It's super disturbing. Like, when you hear, Stone Cold domestic violence thing, it doesn't register as much as when you hear it from the person it happened to. When you hear the victim, it's worse, and it puts into perspective what exactly went on. Like,
It paints a clearer picture.
And Deborah is so graceful about it. She's like, we're friends now. It's fine. He was on alcohol and drugs, and I forgive him. And she's very nice about it. It doesn't negate the fact that Stone Cold did that shit to her, and it's pretty fucking awful. When you hear it in her words, what he did in detail, it's terrible. You could do a Dark Side of the Ring on Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I guarantee you, if you did that and Deborah was on it and all that shit happened, Stone Cold would be canceled too. WWE would be pulling his merchandise off the shelves. They wouldn't,
no more
acknowledge
Tide commercials.
No more Tide commercials, no more nothing for Stone Cold. It would be over. And I'm not saying I want this to happen to Stone Cold. I want his career to be ruined. I'm not saying that. I'm not making a judgment on Stone Cold. I'm just telling you his record is not fucking clean, and I don't think he's a great guy. I guess I am making a judgment on Stone Cold. You know what? I think I'm free to make a judgment on a man who beats the shit out of his wife. I think if you beat the shit out of your wife, chances are you're kind of a piece of shit. I think it's uncool to hit women. I think it's bad to beat the shit out of your wife. Yeah, I do judge Stone Cold. I kind of want to say, fuck Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Which it hurts me to say, It hurts me to say fuck Hulk Hogan because he's like a racist guy and everything, but he's Hulk Hogan, so you love Hulk Hogan. Fuck Terry Bollea and fuck Steve Williams. Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan, they're okay by me because of the character. But the guys themselves...
Punkster just said Bret Hart.
Yeah, you just say Bret Hart. Bret Hart is the example for everybody. Bret Hart, you can always respect. Did he cheat on his wives? Definitely. But, he didn't beat any of them up, and as far as I know, he never said anything racist. So, in the pro wrestling business, that's pretty good. Didn't sexually assault anybody, didn't beat any women up, and didn't say any racist things. As far as wrestling heroes, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's pretty rare.
It's pretty damn rare.
It's like
right?
3 for 3.
I mean, you look at Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, probably just shitty guys overall. Great wrestlers, legends of the business, brother, but, shitty human beings probably in many respects. Victimized a lot of people and did some terrible things. Bret Hart, respect. The Rock, respect as far as we know.
Bryan Danielson.
Kenny Omega. As far as we know, fine. So for Punk to kind of go off and be like, Stone Cold, what a great guy. Hulk Hogan, what a piece of shit. I'm like, all right, I get it. I understand how you feel that way, but maybe watch the Deborah video and see how you feel after that.
Yeah, it's like,
or maybe you've seen it and you don't give a shit, Punk, which makes me wonder about you. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just it's like the wrong finish.
I feel weird
comparison.
talking about. I would feel weird going out in public talking about how great of a guy Stone Cold Steve Austin is and what an exemplary human being. Hulk Hogan is such a piece of garbage, but Steve Austin is so great. I think that's weird. I think you got to tell the truth about who these people really are and what they've done. And there's certain things you can apologize for and you can be high or drunk for, but and it didn't happen just once with Stone Cold and Deborah. It happened a few times to the point where Deborah eventually called the police. Eventually. And got him arrested. But it happened a few times leading up to that, right?
Did Deborah say in those videos, someone told her not to, sell it? Kind of like what Terry Runnels was saying? No,
but she did say, she was asked, did you bring it up to anybody at work? And she's like, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that Stone Cold Steve Austin is, super drunk all the time and beating the shit out of me. No one wants to hear that in WWE because no one would do anything about it. No one would care. Yeah. And as soon as her and Steve were done, WWE and Deborah were done. Steve still has a relationship. Steve's still in the company. Deborah hasn't been brought back for one single thing. What did she do wrong to the WWE? Well, she was on the wrong side of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I guess. which is kind of fucked up, isn't it?
A little bit.
You know what I mean? Like, poor Deborah. Put her in the goddamn Hall of Fame. Show some respect. She had fucking Jerry Lawler going off about puppies all the time. Stone Cold beating her up. And then when Stone Cold was done with her, WWE was too. Nice.
And and the fact that she has this kind of conciliatory kind of attitude after all these years, speaks to her character.
Yeah.
She's a strong woman.
She really is. I got so much respect for Deborah McMichael, I think she still goes by. I don't know. I don't know what she goes by, but Deborah, Miss Deborah, she's a hell of a woman, and yeah, she's been through a lot. Wrestling business put her through the ringer. Don't tell me Stone Cold's a great guy. That's all I'm saying. I love him, but I don't love him. You know?
Yeah, you love his work.
Yeah.
But you don't love the guy.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of respect for who he is as a man. For who he is as a professional wrestler, I have the utmost respect.
It's like how I feel about Woody Allen.
Yeah, great filmmaker, but as a man, probably a piece of garbage.
Wouldn't want to hang out with him.
Yeah. Steve Austin, not a great husband, not a great father, not really a man I would respect. Sorry to say it. But one of the goddamn greatest wrestlers of all time, maybe the most important professional wrestler in the history of the business, made Vince McMahon from a millionaire to a billionaire. Hulk Hogan made Vince a millionaire. Stone Cold made him a billionaire. And that's the bottom line. It's weird. Wrestling's tough, man. Nobody's clean. I mean, these guys, these days, easier to kind of say, okay. Kofi Kingston seems like, all right. Big E, you know what I mean? Guys like that. It's like, yeah, all right. Some guys now, you're like, Bryan Danielson, they seem reasonable and nice, and they haven't done any fucked up shit.
Cesaro.
But the guys we grew up with, like a lot of them, they did some fucked up shit.
Yeah, for the most part.
Pretty much everybody. Yeah. There are the exceptions like Brett, but other than Brett, Brett and Owen. The Hearts were good, but other than that. Johnny?
Thoughts?
So about this Dynamite show we just watched.
Oh!
Johnny doesn't even want to talk about Stone Cold. What do you think about Stone Cold? Like, it's fucked up, right? That he beat up his wife? That's not cool. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's terrible that it happened. But I talked about this like years ago, and you kind of ignored me. Now you bring it up.
What do you
mean?
mean?
Years ago when I told you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I brought this up years ago.
Yeah.
You kind of just brushed it off saying that's, hearsay or whatever. Like, you can't prove that or whatever. And now things have changed because now you saw a video. Now things are different.
No, I don't agree with that, John. I think you're bullshitting me. You know how many shows? Yeah, find me the clip. Find me the clip, John. I dare you. Yeah, find me the clip. Send it to me. I dismissed you. Well, I possibly hadn't seen the Deborah thing, but it's true. Like,
right.
You don't want to believe it. You don't want to think about it. And I know that there was an instance there with Deborah and Austin, and there was a court case, and Austin didn't go to jail for any amount of time. So I figured maybe it was, when people get accused of crimes and then they don't go to jail, for a lot of times you think maybe they're innocent. But he was just judged not guilty, and Deborah actually helped him get off the hook for that. He was going to face some time, and Deborah helped him out. But, yeah, I think a lot of people's opinions would change on Stone Cold after you see that Deborah video. I could post a link for it on my Twitter. It's fucking disturbing to hear her case. John trying to paint me as a guy trying to protect fucking Stone Cold now, and fucking Johnny. Oh, I said this years ago, and no one wanted to listen to me. I've been saying this for years. I knew Hulk Hogan was a racist before. I didn't say anything, but I knew about it. I've been saying this for years. Johnny North is a guy. All right.
I love how it's just me now. That's the way it always should be.
You're on the hot seat.
Because we're waiting for you to say something.
I've said everything I need to say. Like, I told you this. And now you're starting to somewhat remember that that was true.
No, I don't remember at all. I have no recollection of what you're talking about. You have to send me the clip because I don't believe you. We do so many shows. Like, I don't know. I was probably talking about something else entirely, and you're like, yeah, well, Stone Cold, da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Or I'm talking about Daniel Bryan right now. Why are you talking to me about Stone Cold? That may have happened, John.
Oh, Bryan Danielson now.
Yeah.
All right, so it was a good show. Good Dynamite. Good Dynamite tonight.
solid.
Another boring Dynamite. I liked it.
No, Kenny helped. It probably would have been a bit more boring if that match didn't happen. It'd be another boring Dynamite.
Yeah.
Did nothing else happen on Dynamite? I feel like there was something else that happened. No.
No. Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson
Oh,
goes
we
to
had
a
Jericho.
time limit draw. Jericho and Jake Hager did a backstage promo about their match on Friday.
Yeah.
Insane.
And I mean, who cares?
Wasn't
Well,
vulgar. this time.
Hager actually talked for once.
A little bit. And they talked about their match with Scorpion Sky and Ethan Page, and it's on Rampage, and it was a backstage promo. You want to talk about Miro's backstage promo, too? When he talked about his match with Sammy Guevara? I don't know. Those little backstage promos that last maybe 60 seconds. What do you want to say? What do you got?
Well, just that they confirmed it, right?
I thought that was
Miro
already...
and Guevara.
It was already confirmed, wasn't it? Miro Guevara?
I don't know if it was... I don't think it was like 100% confirmed that can happen next week, though.
You see what Miro said? He's like, my God demands that I inflict pain, and my wife demands pleasure, and sometimes pain. And I was like, oh, shit. You hear him say that? I was like, what the fuck?
It's unhinged.
What is he talking about? I love when he talks about his wife and God and the things that they tell him to do. It's like, I like this Miro promo. His promos are very good.
It's better than the best man gimmick.
He does the best backstage little promos that anybody, like better than anybody in AEW. Like he's mastered the art of the 60-second backstage promo. He's really good. And it's like almost all he does on AEW. Once in a while he'll have a match, but those little like short promos where he talks about God's favorite champion, my wife, and the Redeemer. And like, it's just cool. I like it. It's very good. He's really found his groove in AEW. TNT champion, scary as fuck, short little promos, talking about God and his wife. Can't argue with that. I got more to say about Miro than the Jericho thing. Jericho thing was like, it happened. A couple backstage promos on this show happened, and that's all that really, went down. They just happened. Nothing really to say about them. They were short.
I think it's noteworthy to say no one actually got jumped backstage for once. I think that might be a record.
I guess people do often get jumped backstage. Did nobody get jumped backstage? I feel like somebody must have. It's another Dynamite. Didn't happen,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's pretty rare.
Not a lot of backstage action. Most of the things happened in the ring. Kenny and Bryan, they had their match, their time limit draw. CM Punk did an in-ring promo. MJF beats Brian Pillman Jr. Jericho and Hager did their little backstage promo. Malachi Black beats Cody Rhodes. Brandy and Arn Anderson accompany Cody. Brandy is back, looking jacked. I feel like she had a kid 2 or 3 months ago, and already she's back. Not in the ring, but, in ring attire, accompanying Cody. So good to see Brandy back. Miro cut that promo, and Sammy Guevara cut one too. Says he's going to buy Fuego del Sol a new car if he wins the TNT Championship. I don't think Sammy's going to win the TNT Championship. Sting and Darby beat FTR. And Britt Baker over Ruby Soho with the lockjaw submission to retain the AEW Women's Championship. That was Dynamite. That was it.
Yep.
Well, it's definitely better than average Dynamite without question.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yes, the first match was the best, but still, just the atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah. Great show. Top to bottom. Fantastic. Wish they would have closed it with Bryan versus Kenny because I think, it would have helped the show with that at the end. because no one would have had to follow Bryan versus Kenny. And the fact that everybody had to follow it was kind of like, yeah, that was good, but it wasn't as good as that match we already saw earlier in the night, right? Nothing was as good as what we saw already, and what we saw already was what everybody was tuning in for. So you weren't waiting for the match to happen because it already happened. You weren't waiting for a better match. You didn't see anything that was like more holy shit than that first match. Like, there was no surprise, you know what I mean? Like, if they would have debuted somebody or done something during the show, it would have been like, oh, there was that crazy match, but then in the middle of the show, they did this crazy shit too. It was like, no, it was like, they did this crazy match, and then they had a bunch of matches that were pretty good, and then the show was over.
Yeah, it's disappointing. And I had a thought, but I lost it.
Oh, sorry. That was my fault. I was jumping all over you.
No, that's okay.
I'm getting excited, Johnny. I'm getting excited. And I'm excited.
Oh,
what?
Right.
Uh-oh.
Do you think this might affect the crowd for Rampage? Because like they're filming right after, so do you think they'll just still be tired and like the reactions won't be as strong as they should be?
I feel like they're filming Rampage pretty late, like 10 o'clock at night. It's in New York. It's Eastern time. You just saw a whole big episode of Dynamite.
Nothing on Rampage will top Bryan and Kenny.
They got Punk versus Hobbs. They better do that at the end of the show. Like, that should close Rampage, right?
I can see the Bucks and Adam Cole closing out and the Jurassic Express.
According to Johnny North logic, it'll be Miro and Sammy Guevara because the only championship match on the card.
Isn't that on Dynamite next week?
Oh, is it? I thought it was on Rampage.
Nah, I think it's on Dynamite.
Oh, okay.
They did like both. They were like doing Rampage stuff and then and on Dynamite next week. There was like one of the I think.
Oh, okay. I got confused. They throw out so many matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Punk versus Hobbs has to be the main event, or the Bucks maybe thing.
There's another trios match too, isn't there? I think on Rampage.
Yeah, there's a lot of tags.
Moxley and Kingston against 2.0
against Archer and Suzuki.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn, that's Friday.
Shit, like that's
Yeah, you're missing that.
I think Punk versus Hobbs is gonna open the show, guys.
Oh yeah.
Adam Cole and the Bucks versus Christian, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Oh
Jericho
yeah.
and Hager versus Men of the Year.
I could close out the show. You know, singing Judas. Gets the crowd going.
I don't know, but people are posting spoilers already. This has happened.
Damn. We shouldn't say them.
No, I won't tell you what the.
People know the matches though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so Suzuki and yeah, that's Friday night. That's cool. I like Suzuki. Maybe that'll close the show. I could see that being the match closer, Moxley. They like to main event with Moxley.
And Suzuki, if the crowd sings
Yeah.
Nare.
Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. He says, nice to see so many folks we haven't seen for a while. JC, Lee J. It's fun here. Yeah, it is a party here tonight on the Ringside Report Network. We've got everybody in the house. Johnny North is in the house. My brother is in the house. Harold Schneider is now the super chat leader. Wow, Harold took over there from Angelo. Good God almighty. Thank you, Harold. Angelo wants to know, what do we think of the Dark Side of the Ring, the Flight from Hell episode? We talked about it on Friday night. Check out the show from Friday night, Angelo. Actually, we did a whole video. You could just check out the video right now on the YouTube channel. There's a video just on that we cut out from the latest episode of Wrestling Uncensored, the Plane Ride from Hell. It's you could watch it on our YouTube channel right now. Show you there. There, that's on our YouTube channel. You could watch it over on the main channel right there, the Wrestling Uncensored. Just scroll
I
down.
thought it was pretty good.
Scroll down, and it's right there, Angelo. You'll be able to watch our Dark Side of the Ring recap from the Plane Ride from Hell. And I guess we won't be covering Dark Side of the Ring on Friday night because we won't be on Friday night. So I guess we'll talk about it after Extreme Rules on Sunday night when we will be back together. Johnny, you're going to be on with me Sunday night after Extreme Rules, right?
Yeah, Extreme Rules is going to be what? It starts at 8 though?
I don't know. Probably.
That's too bad. I loved it when the pay-per-views started at 7 and early. That was the best WWE. I wish they went back to that.
Yeah, that was good. But we'll be back here on Sunday night for Extreme Rules altogether. And I'll be back here tomorrow night, Thursday night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA. Exceptionally, we will not be on here Friday night at 10 p.m. We're usually on every Friday night right after SmackDown to watch Rampage with you and to do all the stuff, recap SmackDown. But Johnny is going to be wrestling this Friday night, and I will be appearing at the show as well, part of the show. And you can get information at mewwrestling.com. It is this Friday night at the MTELUS in downtown Montreal.
Nice venue.
You can get tickets now. Some tickets still available. Santino will be on the card. It is a big card. Johnny North on the card. Rich Swann, Trey Miguel. A big show on Friday night. Hope you can be there with us. Friday night at the MTELUS, mewwrestling.com for more information on that show. Big Johnny North will be in action. I will be involved in the show, so it's definitely something you want to check out this Friday night. mewwrestling.com for more information at the MTELUS, downtown Montreal on a Friday night. Some live professional wrestling. It'll be my first time watching live pro wrestling in almost like about 2 years, right? It'll be a long time. Haven't seen anything since the pandemic started, right? It's been, I think, December 2019 is the last time I was at a live pro wrestling show. It was a WWE house show in Laval. Remember that? You were there with me.
The main event.
It was like Roman
and Braun?
That was Roman and Baron, maybe, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, that was dog shit.
And AJ will be there with me. He will be accompanying me to the match. So that'll be fun. We're going to see our first live wrestling show in almost 2 years. Just under 2 years. I'm excited to be back in the atmosphere of a pro wrestling show. Of course, you're going to need your vaccine passport to enter the show, as you need it to enter anything, concert venue, restaurant, whatever, here in the province of Quebec. Okay. Angelo Cotagon is dropping the super chat. He says, good luck in your match on Friday, Johnny at MTELUS. Thank you, Angelo, and you are now the super chat leader once again of the night. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the channel. Franco316, Doug Hepburn, Brian Firth, Angelo Cotagonis, Harold Schneider, Patrick C. Hamilton. I mean, good God almighty. The support here tonight, fantastic. Appreciate you guys. Lee J. Robinson checking in. Thank you, Lee J. Everybody that was here watching, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. And, of course, a big happy birthday to our buddy AJ DeLesio. What? He is 25 once again. 25 for the 45th year in a row.
How does he do it?
I don't know how he stays 25 for 4 decades plus, but he has done it somehow.
He's found the fountain of youth.
I don't know how he's done it. So happy birthday, AJ. We love you, buddy. Thank you for watching the show. And AJ and I and Freddie will be back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, to preview UFC 266, Volkanovski versus Ortega. We have Lauren Murphy challenging Valentina Shevchenko for the Women's Flyweight Championship. And you also have Robbie Lawler taking on the returning Stockton's own Nick Diaz, coming up in a 5-round fight, a non-main event, non-title 5-round fight coming up at UFC 266 on Saturday. Nick Diaz has not fought in over 6 years and will be making his return. And I don't know if it's looking too good for Nick. His team is requesting the fight be moved to middleweight. And he's doing this fight week. Typical Nick Diaz shit. But it was supposed to be a 170-pound fight, And Nick Diaz and his camp are saying, let's make this 185, guys. Let's do 185. Yeah. This request is coming in on like a Monday. Dana White confirmed it last night. He's like, yeah, Nick and his team, they want it at 85. Just, run-of-the-mill shit when you're dealing with Nick Diaz. So I think the fight's going to take place at 85, but kind of weird for a fighter to come into fight week and be like, can we up the poundage by 15 pounds? This weight cut's not doing too good. So
Lawler's just going to gain weight really fast?
I don't know. He just won't cut.
Yeah.
He just won't cut. I mean, that's it. He just won't cut weight. And Nick, I don't know how heavy Nick
Lawler's
is.
Probably like 190 or something.
I just don't understand. This is just very unusual for a fighter to come in and be like, can we change the weight
and it gets
week
approved.
of the fight? And it's getting approved because if it doesn't get approved, Nick probably doesn't fight, and a lot of people are going to be mad. Like, the other fights I talked to you about, no one. I mean, Volkanovski Ortega is pretty good, and Valentina is cool, but, like, people are tuning in for Nick Diaz. Mm-hmm. It's a fucking Nick Diaz show. He hasn't fought in 6 years. He's a megastar. A lot of people are tuning in for Nick Diaz, and they want him on the card. So they're like, yeah, sure, fight at heavyweight. We don't give a fuck. Just fight, okay? Show up and fight, please. And he will, I think. I hope. You never know, though. You never know with that guy. He's the best. And that's why we like him, because he's off the wall, off the chain. Franco 316, member of the universe for 3 months now. Thank you, Franco, re-upping a membership. And he says, AJ, you old fart. Oh! He's getting you, AJ. He's getting you. AJ will be back here tomorrow night, like I said, talk about the UFC, and then we'll be back Saturday night for UFC 266, the watch-along. All right? That's it, Johnny. Final words for Johnny.
Weekend.
You want to say happy birthday to AJ one more time? Show him some love.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, AJ. Hope you had some nice sausage.
All right.